Ladies and gentlemen, MLB season is officially here, and the Phillies got things started in the right way, already putting one in the win column. While it did not go exactly as planned, with a ton of strikeouts going in the other direction, there were some late inning heroics, some extra inning heroics, including Alec Bohm delivering a key hit to give the Phillies the lead. I want to talk a little bit more in depth about Alec Bohm specifically. It was a turbulent offseason for the All-Star third baseman, in which his name was frequent in trade rumors, but he's back locked in. He's a significant part of this Phillies team, and I think we may be buckled in for the best season of his career thus far. Going to talk about exactly why in this video here, but before I get to it, do want to remind you guys to make sure you are smashing that subscribe button. That at this point in time, 64.2% of you guys watch these videos have not subscribed to us here at Phillies Digest just yet, and now is the time. The season is in full swing. There is real baseball to talk about, and we want each and every one of you guys on board. So to get right into the topic of today, first want to reflect on this hit from Alec Bohm. Alec Bohm splits the gap in left field as the Phillies take a 5-3 lead in the top of the 10th inning on opening day. So a bit of a messy game overall. Jordan Romano, not a great debut there that he did blow that. Did not pitch well, did not have control. Very underwhelming there. I honestly, to give him a little bit of pass, I thought the Nationals hit some of his good pitches here. Like the ultimate tying run was this little blooper into center field. I think people are going a little bit hard on Romano, but obviously not the start that you want to his Phillies tenure. On the bright side, Orion Kirkland looked lights out. Jose Alvarado looked the best that we've seen him in quite some time. Matt Strahm locking things down in the pen as usual there, and Zack Wheeler was excellent on the mound as well. Now, Alec Bohm's really the story of what I want to talk about, because I think that hit was not just, obviously him delivering in the moment, coming in through for the team here, but that was one that meant something on a personal level after the offseason that he obviously went through here. So to dive into how it was written up on MLB.com here, do want to start off with this. That's right. This portion of the article here, which does write about Alec Bohm, and to start off with, it's why Bohm hits near the top of the lineup. He hit third on Thursday between Harper and Schwarber. He could hit fourth on Saturday, with Phillies manager Rob Thomson hinting that Schwarber could return to the leadoff spot against Nats right-hander Jake Irvin. Quote, "I've hit 1 through 9 in my career," I think Bohm said. "Maybe not ninth, but basically everywhere in the lineup. Wherever you put me, I'll try to fit in. My approach isn't necessarily based on where I hit. It's a simple kind of approach. Runners on, runners not on. Nothing really changes for me. If it's something over the plate, if it's a strike, if it's a good pitch to hit, I'm going to swing at it. If it's not, I'm going to do my best not to swing at it." And he continues on to say here, to pull up, Bohm's heroics helped the Phillies overcome 19 strikeouts, the second most by any MLB team on opening day. The White Sox had 21 Ks in a 12-inning loss to the Mariners in 1996. And a blown 2-run lead in the eighth, he reacted coolly to the moment as he cruised into second base, having driven in Bryson Stott and Bryce Harper to give the Phillies a 2-run lead. He quickly motioned to his teammates in the visitors' dugouts before removing the shin guard from his left leg. Quote, "It's a credit to him," Phillies ace Zack Wheeler said. "I've been through those trade rumors where your name gets out there a good bit and you think you're gone." And cool for Bohm to kind of respond with this. And this is one of the bigger storylines that I had my eye on going into the year. When you think about where things had gone wrong with the Alec Bohm experience, and I think gone wrong is even putting it strong. This is a dude that was an all-star last year and obviously had a poor second half of the season, was benched in the playoffs. And when you're factoring why that is the case, I do think a good portion of it has to do with stuff that we don't know about. We obviously see some of the mental lapses in the field that occurred in the second half of last year. We saw him not driving in runners at the rate, not putting bat on ball at the rate that he did at the start of the season. But what we didn't see is Alec Bohm behind the scenes. And from some of the reading between the lines and the quotes, from just seeing the way that he acts when he gets thrown out at first base or strikes out at the plate or things like that, I think that kind of stuff wore on Rob Thomson and the Phillies organization just as much as some of the underperforming on the field, which I think that conversation is a little bit strong. I do think that it's the behind the scenes. And what I'm encouraged by was this response. I think there was one of two ways that it could have gone from Alec Bohm. That this was going to be a hissy fit season, that he was mad, that his name was mentioned in all these trade rumors, that he's going to be miserable from start to finish and everyone's going to know it. That was not what we saw whatsoever from Alec Bohm in Game 1. And I get it. We are buckled up for the marathon. We haven't even gotten our first water break yet. We are just at the starting line of this entire race this season. but could not be happier for the version of Alec Bohm that we saw. And it does seem that everyone in the locker room is buying in. We got this from Rob Thomson speaking. Shout out to John Clark of NBC Sports here that says, Phillies manager Rob Thomson says Alec Bohm is in a great headspace. He says Alec has matured. He worked on not being too emotional. Alec hit 370 this spring. Those are good things to hear. And obviously, actions speak far louder than words with this, in particular when you factor in the trade conversations and wanting to boost the value as much as possible if that were still to come together. But I do think that ship has sailed on the season. That I think if there was going to be an Alec Bohm trade, it would have happened this offseason. That I do think that this is something that they are now locked in. He is a part of this core, and we are buckled in hoping for the best for Alec Bohm this season, and I think they're going to get it. Now, throw a little more credit to Bryce Harper specifically. Shout out to him. The first opening day home run in his Phillies tenure, the 6th of his career there. Kind of surprised that was the first one there, and pretty cool to do it to a little chorus of boos from those National fans, whatever amount of National fans they were. I know they dipped early after that extra innings went down the ropes there. But Bryce was asked a little bit about the outlook for Alec Bohm specifically, and he said, quote, "A lot of guys in here, including myself, we love that kid over there." And it is cool to see a little bit of this rallying around Alec Bohm. That's something I wasn't 100% sure of either, because when we talk about those emotional outbursts, when we talk about some of what the wear and tear behind the scenes on the team is from a personality standpoint, these are guys coming to his defense, publicly speaking about him. And he obviously is the man of the hour from that hit that he did have there. But the bottom line is he delivered, and his teams are rallying around him. This was a great start to the season, and I think a weight off Alec Bohm's back to get started like that. So plenty more time to go. We're not jumping to any conclusions as far as what the rest of the year could mean. He absolutely could be dead cold at the plate for a stretch of time, and I'm sure that will happen throughout the ebbs and the flows of the seasons. But the fact that he's off to the races, starting at a high rate, and looking like the Alec Bohm we saw at the start of last season, I'm really encouraged by. There's a couple guys that I think clearly need to take their game to that next level. I wouldn't throw Alec Bohm particularly in that conversation, as I thought in the larger sample size when looking at the entire year last year, he was very good for this Phillies team. He obviously did not close the season at a high rate there, but when looking at the whole season, it's got to be the middle of the infield that steps up a little more. Bryson Stott got to get a little more production out of the at bat. He was at the plate there. He was excellent in the field yesterday, down to that final out that he had on a really slick sliding, just going to his left side, flipping it to first. Really impressive play from Stott there. And for Trey Turner specifically, I'm talking myself more and more, and I don't think it happens anytime in the short term, but I think to actually maximize this Phillies team on both, like all fronts here, it's got to be Trey Turner playing second and Bryson Stott playing short. There is no doubt in my mind that it would be a better defensive team if that was the case there, but nonetheless, I don't expect that to be an actual conversation for quite some time at this point. And one last shout out to the debut of Max Kepler. Kepler looks like a guy, dude. This is a dude who looks intimidating at the plate. He battles at the plate, which I'm impressed with. He forced, I think it was 13 pitches in his last at-bat that ultimately ended in a walk there. It was at least, I think it was 11, actually, now that I'm thinking it back. This was one of the extra inning at-bats there. But he's a big boy up at the plate. He swings like crazy. He fouled a couple that were just absolutely towering foul balls that ultimately ended, that didn't count for anything there. But there does feel to be some legit power there. And I think he's kind of a different style of player than that they've really tried during this era of outfielders. So very curious about the Max Kepler experience and how that goes from here. But overall, really encouraging signs from opening day. It's never going to go 100% according to plan. They're not going to go 162-0. But they got off to as good a start as possible, and the result is still the result that they desired. So a rare day off after the opening day action. They will be back in action tomorrow and Sunday. So shout out to this Phillies team for getting underway. Shout out to you guys for tuning in this video here. And once again, do want to make sure you guys are smashing that subscribe button, as we got plenty of more content to break down as this season continues to get underway. Just 35.7% of you guys watching these videos thus far have subscribed. So let's get this Phillies Digest family growing, man. We got a whole season to get underway. Want each and every one of you a part of it from start to finish. So make sure you're hitting that button. Drop a like on this video. Drop your thoughts on Alec Bohm or anything else below. I'll be back talking to you next time. Peace.